Martin Luther King Jr. once said, "Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere." Now, as we know, there are always three sides to the truth. The first party, the second party, and then the truth. Now, I don't know the truth. I just know my gut. My gut is telling me to free Rodney Reed until I read that Rodney is free. Poetry. In 1996, 19-year-old Stacey Stites was found on the side of the road in Bastrop, Texas. In 1996, a young white girl was found raped and strangled on the side of the road by the hands of a black man in Bastrop, Texas. Headline: Death row inmate serves 21 years in prison after being found guilty of being a nigger. Headline: Thug rapes and strangles innocent white soon-to-be wife of heroic Texas white cop. All-white jury found hoodlum guilty. Headline: Innocent father and grandfather has received his expiration date again. Headline: Everything is bigger in Texas. Headline: Niggas aren't welcomed in Texas. Headline: Is racism bigger in Texas? Prison pillow talk. Jimmy Fennell said, "I had to kill my nigger-loving fiance." 1998, the year I was born. 1998, the year the man who shares a name and skin tone with my father is sentenced to a life of imprisonment with a needle hiding in a haystack. Reading Rodney's reality, revealed revelations, reports reviewed, representation reiterated, roads resembles rivers releasing riots. This shit ain't right. I said this shit ain't right. Black man convicted for a crime never committed. 1944. Imagine if George Stinney survived the white lies to tell his story. Yet his death remains a miscarriage of justice, only to be exonerated less than a century later. At the age of 14, George Stinney was executed. Now, Rodney Reed faces a familiar fate at 51. Fact: the murder weapon was never tested for DNA. Death by strangulation was the initial cause of death, but that was without calculating the amount of H2O in her lungs. Fact: 4 renowned forensic pathologists have all concluded Reed's guilt is medically and scientifically impossible. Fact: Rodney Reed's semen was found inside of Stacey Stites. Fact: Stacey Stites had jungle fever. Her cousin and co-worker were aware of the affair. Fact: Stacey Stites was engaged to a cop who was later found guilty of kidnap and rape after Stites' death. Fact: an insurance salesperson, 2 Texas police officers, a former Aryan brother and prison mate of Jimmy Fennell have brought forth new evidence supporting the innocence of Rodney Reed. Fact: Rodney Reed is still scheduled to be executed on November 20th. Fact: over 3 million Americans have signed a petition to reopen Rodney Reed's case. Fact: Rodney Reed is still scheduled to be executed on November 20th. Fact: Dr. Phil, Oprah, Kim Kardashian, Rhianna, Sean King, Meek Mill, and more are fighting for the freedom of Rodney Reed. Fact: Rodney Reed is still scheduled to be executed on November 20th. Fact: history repeats itself. Fact: we let history repeat itself. Fact: the power is not in the government. Fact: the power is in the people. Fact: these politicians and judges are people too. Fact: they fear death too. Fact: they bleed like we do. Fact: we need to take notes from Haiti, past and present. Fact: if Rodney Reed is crucified, then I'm calling for bloodshed. Fact: an eye for an eye. Fact: we will not turn the other cheek then proceed to sing Negro spirituals. Fact: this is not a threat, this is a promise. Fact: fact: I can only pray me screaming on this mic sparks change. Fact: I only have 5 days. Fact: I only have 5 days. Fact: If Rodney Reed isn't released from those chains, I'll be on a plane straight to Texas, kicking down the governor's door. Time to even the score. Fact, this system was not made for us. These roads are not paid for us. Our ancestors slaved for us. Now the U.S. is building graves for us. Fact, free Rodney until that shit backwards. Fact, free Reed until that shit backwards. Fact, free Rodney Reed until I read Rodney free. I'm screaming, free Rodney Reed until I read Rodney free. I said I'm screaming, free Rodney Reed until I read Rodney free. See, as an artist, we hold the voices of millions in our breath. So on the count of 3, deep breathing. 1, 2, 3, in through your nose. And out through your mouth. I know it feels as if we're in hell already, living in this cold world. So to release, we exhale the burning trees. Reading Rodney's reality revealed revelations. We can't wait on the arsonists to save the fiery forest. So question, what do we do if they murder another innocent man? Do we scream Black Lives Matter, waiting on the next victim and try again? Or do we become the arsonist and the firefighter? We screaming free Rodney Reed until I read Rodney free. Poetry.